what university you went to and what college you went to, and particularly in London.
Yeah,
there are all sorts of funny handshakes as well, and that sort of stuff goes
Yeah.
on. But really, I think for people in the wider country who are setting up a business and moving forward in business, I think it's hugely important to have that sort of network. And that's what really this is about, is creating that network, to helping people to make those connections. So first of all, in order to just be able to learn of somebody else in terms of the experience that you have, in terms of the work shared that you've had, and sometimes you can help somebody by just talking to them about a particular position or situation that they're in, but also to make contacts, to do business together, and to do that. So it's very important, and I, as Safaraz and Khalid, have been sort of, along with their colleagues, been doing a good job in this. And I think one of the key things about this is to be able to have those connections and be able to move forward. So I think that's what the key thing is here. And nobody else has really thought of doing it, and I think what these guys have done is absolutely fantastic to get that network sorted out and to move people forward. And that's what we need in the outer skirts of the M25. Anything beyond that is alien to most people inside the M25. And so to build those networks, to make sure that people can actually move forward and come out and build those industries, build those companies, build those units that people can actually start to employ them. And that's how we get things going. You know, a lot of small businesses, 1 to 9 people are the biggest growing sector at the moment. And if you can do anything to help that to move forward, I think it's absolutely phenomenal. And well done, and thank you for coming to London. An absolutely fantastic project here, and I think, you know, wish you all the best to move forward, not just London, to move across the country, and put young people, young entrepreneurs together, and see how they can move forward and progress forward. And that is a huge advantage. And I've seen, you know, there's nothing like experience. You can get all the qualifications that you want, but talking to people with experience is the most important thing. So I've gone on too long as usual, but thank you all very much, and thank you for coming. Sorry I'm late again.
Khalid, just to ask a question, if I may, just to put you on the spot a little bit, if I may. You know, we're an apprenticeship training provider. A lot of our work is with SME organisations, and that's what we do. That's our bread and butter. But what we find is that there's a lot of employers out there, a lot of businesses out there that need business support. You know, we're talking about coaching, mentoring and so forth. There used to be a lot of support that was available before. A lot of that has now just completely gone, vanished. Is there anything that you could do in terms of encouraging, maybe, you know, and I know you're not opposition in terms of us, but is there anything that you can do in terms of actually putting something out there as a voice to say, you know, these SME businesses, I mean, you're involved with Saturday, Small Business Saturday. Is there anything that you could do in terms of actually
there's a number of things that I'm quite seriously looking at. I think one of the key things that you need to look at, first of all, in terms of apprenticeships and trainings, the levy that they put on is hugely disadvantaging people of bringing apprenticeships together, and I think that's a real key thing for us to try and hammer away. Nick Bowles is the minister for that, and I've spoken to him a number of times, and I'll carry on speaking to him. So I think that is a huge thing, that if you want a small business to move off the ground, is to cut some of those burdens that are on there. And I think in terms of funding and supporting, certainly in terms of Birmingham, I'm very much in touch with the new leader, and we're speaking about the sort of issues. I'm speaking to people in economic development as well, of how we can actually support that one-stop operation of supporting people. There are huge things that can be done. There are things that can be done in terms of providing a base for people to work from, units for people to work from, to start up, making it easier in terms of the business rates and everything else that they're paying. And so there's a huge amount that can be done in terms of just local authorities working together to do that. And I say, you know, people forget the 1 to 9 people to start off with, employing 1 to 9 people is phenomenally important, because they are the wealth creators of the future. And if we don't tackle them, there's a big problem. I think the government nationally needs to look at that as well. So there's a number of us who are trying to speak to them. I also do a lot of work with the EEF, Engineering Employers Federation, who also have a huge apprenticeship college in my place, in Perry Bar, in Holford Drive, where they're looking to extend that, double the size where it is now. They've got something in the region of about 330 students coming there, so they want to increase to over 600, which is a phenomenal progress, with the employers paying in themselves. But they've got issues that they want to discuss with me as well, so I am quite happy to move those issues forward. And I think local authorities and national government got to look at supporting these very, very unique businesses of entrepreneurs who are prepared to put everything into it to make it work, and I think it's important for them to do that.
My view on a slightly different aspect of it, and yes, I fully with you on that, Khalid. But you know, where could a small business go in terms of getting advice, guidance, and support? You know, it's no longer Birmingham City Council. There's nobody there. there's no business link. Where can they go?
Well, that's what we're hoping to do. I mean, the new leaders spent last week almost 4 hours at the Chamber of Commerce, and basically trying to put some of those links together. I think what's important in terms of what John Clancy is looking at is how we do that, how we put that back in. And I think by and large, it's now delegated to local authorities to be able to look at that. I've got meetings on Friday with people in economic development, and where I'm pushing those sort of issues forward as well. So I think we need to get the rest of the MPs together, we get the council leader and the cabinet together, and certainly the cabinet member responsible, because those are the very services that you need to move forward. If you haven't got those services, then you're not going to be able to do that. So I understand what you're saying, but the answer still has to be in local government. They can try and push. There are some fundings available that we don't know is necessarily all tap in. There are funding available in terms of the LEP, where you can have startup, sort of writing a bid to start up and stuff like that, getting the whole proposal together. There's funding from LEPs to do that. The number of the funding which we get through economic development in Birmingham, through the European Union funding that's available. So there are bits of funding. The problem, you're right, is that nobody knows about it.
Where would you go to get that advice?
Well, that's what I'm trying to sort out. What we need to do is have a single point signposted, say this is where you need to go to and do that. But at the moment, you're right, it isn't. There are fundings available. But I get a lot of young entrepreneurs and other people who've been in business for a while and saying, well, how do we access any of this support? So without knowing that, I think Chamber of Commerce can actually play a role in doing this. But I have a lot of experience of being disappointed with the Birmingham Chamber of Commerce, and I'll say this on the record, I'm not, because I think they haven't delivered elements of those. Chamber of Commerce is the voice of the businesses in the area, and they need to do that.
Do you think there's other organisations that can be commissioned to sort of do this sort of thing? Because there's a lot of, the local authorities, they've done what they need to do, but there's so much that they can do. The real sort of work is coming from organisations like Pathway2Grow, because the social enterprises that really work with these audiences. Is there an opportunity for them to be commissioned?
I think there should be an opportunity. I think one of the key things, as I've said before, is the Chamber of Commerce and the ABCC should be doing a lot of that work already. But I think they haven't quite grasped the natural in respect of doing that. And I think, if you're going to put a proposal forward, let's see how we can do that.
Can you just add to that, if you allow me? Obviously, what we're trying to do with Pathway2Grow is like a peer-to-peer networking. What we find is that, yes, there may not be a single point of information, but somebody will know some information within our network. So what we've got is, people that will know, that have gone through it and share with others. So we're all about sharing information and so forth, and that's how we're doing it in terms of our organisation. And I agree with you to a certain extent. The single point of, if it was there, you could say, yep, that's the point of reference. We're a private organisation. We're doing it for our own back. We're trying to create a community here to help each other, which is another way of doing things, because there's a void there, there's a gap there.
Yeah, if you want, that's what I said to the school, is that if you want to set that bid up from Pathways to Growth, is quite a natural thing to do. So if those people haven't delivered, and both the ABCC and the Chamber hasn't delivered, City Council hasn't delivered, so if they haven't delivered, then let's put a proposal forward and see what we can do. We've got to get that forward, because if we don't do that, I think what our problem is going to be is that we're just talking about it and nothing gets delivered. And so those people who want to pick up those ideas they've got, I've known a number of, I know a guy in Hockley who's done an idea about doing stuff with these earphone things that they've got. He's got all sorts of things that he's sending out to the golf. He's gold plating them and all sorts of things. And selling them off at a huge price. So, great ideas.
A lot of entrepreneurs.
There are a lot of entrepreneurs who can do all of this stuff, but we haven't sort of really harnessed that. And the whole idea of the local authority is, in terms of regeneration, is to harness that, to support those people, to move that forward. And that's been part of my battle locally in terms of what Birmingham hasn't done. Unfortunately, also, we should get some of our councils on board to push with this as well. But sometimes we get too much talk and not enough action. So I think what we need to do is to do that and to say, look, this is the opportunity to do it. So if you're going to put a bid together, I'm happy to put that forward.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Khalid. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your